This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 8 12 15, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, and email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Happy New Year to all our readers, and Happy New Year to you guys.
And to you, Frank Skinner. Well, I'm going to start just briefly with... We've had some praise for you.
Oh?
But what's going on
This isn't
here?
a New Year's resolution that we're doing praise now.
No, we're not
In case
doing-
anyone's new to the show, I'm very wary of these radio shows where it says, "Oh, Paul Call said fantastic show, Steve," and you think, "Oh, right, showing off."
No, this is to do with your personal life.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not in an inappropriate way.
Is it broadcastable?
I haven't had messages of praise for that for a very long time.
Just let that sit for a bit. Carl O'Shaughnessy has been in touch.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here? I have to say, Frank on the Radio was a delight to meet, and also sent me a lovely note afterwards.
Yeah, well, these are the
Following
sort
a
of
work
ones I
event.
used to get.
And then he says, "Absolute gentleman," and he's got an emoji of the two hands pressed together in a praise
Or is it a namaste?
Namaste.
It could be a namaste, couldn't it?
Well, what I
Yeah.
would say is, how do you know? What did you do?
I don't know.
But you wrote to him.
I met him and then sent him a note.
It's lovely. It was very kind of
That's
you.
nice.
Yeah.
Unless it's...
I've really put you on the spot
what's
here.
his first name again?
He's called Carl O'Shaughnessy.
Okay.
It was an answer to who's the nicest celebrity you've ever met, and you came top.
Ah,
Well, that's good.
Only
That
with
is
this
good.
man. Only with this man.
that's good. Does he live in the wilds somewhere where you don't meet celebrities? Well, look, I'm glad. I don't remember writing a note. I mean, I often get mixed up with Graham Norton, but it can't have happened on this case. I don't think he'd have wrote the note.
Okay, so I just want to say we're going to start 2022 with you being the nicest celebrity someone's ever met.
That is. What's the nicest celebrity you've ever met?
In what capacity?
Well, is there a capacity for
there-
niceness?
There very much is for me.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a tough question.
I've
I
one
know
of you
you've
I'd like
met
to
a
throw in
few,
the
as
mix.
have I.
I'm going to say in my top
When,
3 is Jim Carrey.
Oh, lovely.
Really?
I walked into his dressing room by mistake.
Yeah,
I thought
right.
I did. I thought it was
You
Jonathan
walked
Ross.
out of it by mistake, more like.
I thought it was Jonathan Ross's dressing room.
Okay.
And I had my feet up and I was sitting there making myself at home, and I offered him a drink from the fridge, and it was his. He said, "No, I'm okay, thank you, I'm okay."
That is.
And it was his fridge. He didn't say a word. He just tolerated me
That's
being there.
nice.
No, he was charming.
What about you, Al? Sorry
I,
to spring this on you.
as it happens, I was just reminiscing about this with my wife the other day, and she said, "Do you know what I've just remembered? When Sir Trevor McDonald told me that I looked glowing, she was pregnant when we met. I worked with Trevor McDonald, no big deal, and Sir Trevor.
Yeah.
And he said, 'You look glowing.' And
People always
she-
say that, though, don't they, to pregnant
But he
women?
meant it.
Okay.
He meant
Yeah.
it. It sounded
that's-
really sincere.
These
It was
blokes,
very nice.
get them off the auto cue, these news legends. They just start banging out the cliches. I'll tell you who was surprisingly
Go on.
nice. Robert Downey Jr. was great.
Really?
He was
Really?
great.
Wow.
And I tell you, he asked for a drink of water, and a runner came with a bottle of water, and he looked at me, Robert Downey. You know, he said, "I used to be quite a big star," and the water had got like about 2 inches out, like someone had had a drink out of the bottle of water. With some Hollywood stars, it would have been
Yeah.
that person would have had to be sacked. But I know I really liked him. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. That's our favourite celeb. That's. I
What
mean,
a
if-
strange bedfellows. Robert Downey Jr., Jim Carrey, and Sir Trevor McDonald.
I'd like to watch that particular film. I think that would be good. Shall we make it a texting, or is it too tedious?
No, because I like that it's sort
I'll
of
tell you what, it's a
benign.
positive start to
Yeah,
the year
that's
as
what
well.
I think.
Not like worst,
Yeah, it
nasty,
won't last.
most unpleasant. No, I'm pleased with that, though. Nicest celebrity you've ever met.
Yeah.
And I don't want people from my past. Come on, girls. You know what? We agreed.
Girls.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
tell you what I don't. You know, when you're driving along down the motorway or something and local radio interrupts with traffic news.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that. Who cares about that? Just take
People
your
might
chances.
think that of us when they hear us.
Well, they might do, but it's 3 hours is quite a long interruption.
Yeah.
But often the volume's a bit different, so it's a bit louder or something on the someone's shouting at you about the Ball Lane roundabout or stuff like that.
Yeah,
Come on.
I agree, and I think it means that you've got the setting on your stereo on. There's like a little TP, something like that.
There
says
is, yeah.
Interrupt with travel news, and you need to get rid of that somehow. I mean, I don't know, because I'm a guy who drives his car with the clock wrong for half of each year.
Me too.
I don't know how to fix that.
I have to say my PA's gone into it this year and put it right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a dignified moment
Thank
in
you.
your life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what someone said to me, though, the other day. I parked and I said, they said, we're going to remember where it is because we were like near a forest. It wasn't really like a proper road. And I said, yes, on the phone, you know, to get you back to your car.
So it sounds like the beginning of a horror film.
Yeah,
Frank.
I know it does. You sure picked a creepy night to go for a drive, Freddie. So I said, you know, that thing on your phone that takes you back to your car, and they were all going, no.
Yeah, I've got that.
I thought, isn't that a thing now?
Parked car.
Faye, is it a thing? No, Faye's shaking her head. She's
I
young.
haven't got that.
I thought everyone had got that. How awful. And
Frank.
the bottler
No, I
thing,
haven't.
is that unusual?
Oh,
No.
That's unusual too.
you know what? Let's try and be. I think let's start 2022 by being a little bit relatable.
I know, but when you get to my age, a phone that tells you where you park your car is absolutely essential. You know what I mean? It's not like a whiz kid tech thing. It's a help me thing. That's
It's
what
like
it
a
is.
cord in the living room.
It's like it's like a gently held hand.
Yes.
That's what it's like.
We've had a couple of nominations for nicest celebrity I've ever met.
Oh, okay.
We have Bridge has texted in with Cyril Regis.
Oh, Cyril Regis, some of you may not know, was a former West Bromwich Albion star. He did play for other teams, but
He did.
we don't talk about that.
And Jane
That's
Cartledge.
good. He wasn't. I met him. He was a lovely bloke.
Nice chap. Jane Cartledge says Ted Robbins.
Oh, Ted Robbins.
Oh, I've met Ted Robbins. He is nice. Yeah.
Did he look after the donkeys on Heidi High? Was he that guy?
Alan?
Oh,
He was a
I
warm-up
thought
guy.
he was the king of the TV warm-ups.
He was king of the warm-ups. Well, there was a few. Bobby
He was
Bragg was one of the other kings. I think there were three kings, as in the Christmas story. You were the other one, Al. I think you bought.
I was for a while.
I think you were the one who carried myrrh.
I did a lot of it for a while. Yeah.
We've also had John Hopkins,
Hopkins.
one of our regulars, says years ago I met 1980s funny man Gary Wilmot
Oh yeah.
when he bought a Big Mac. He was an absolute joy. But then immediately undid all his good work when he sat down and ate said burger sectionally from top to bottom.
Oh no.
The Lord giveth with one hand and he taketh away with the other, says Hopkins.
Yeah. No, I don't.
That is eccentric behaviour, isn't it?
I mean, it must be great when imagine if I'm a big fan of delayed gratification. You know what I mean? You work now and then you get your reward later. Eating the dry top of a bun, thinking, here comes dill pickle, must be a very lovely motivation and a test. A real cycle, like the kids who, if you don't eat that marshmallow now, you'll get two later. It's like that. What about Wilmot starting at the top?
But doesn't it finish on bread? Oh.
Yeah, you finish on bread as well. Yeah, that is true.
I'm out.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Emerton Gooner
Yeah.
has been in touch. Just going to chip in with these occasionally. Nicest ever celebrity I've met. Emerton Gooner, the actor Simon Callow. spent the whole of a Eurostar journey opposite him, and he was happy to chat and provided many an interesting anecdote.
Did you? Oh, that would have been a great trip.
Things that don't surprise me. Simon Callow was prepared to come up with many an anecdote.
Yeah. It's interesting because I met him. I didn't find him that friendly. And we'll just
Wow.
let that hang there. But maybe it was me, you know. But yeah, I'd love to hear him talk about Dickens and all that. I bet he mentioned Dickens.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'd be a really interesting
He
bloke,
definitely
but
would have mentioned Oscar Wilde.
I think he just didn't like me. That was my feeling.
At
Did
a
he?
different end of the show business spectrum, 644 has texted Noel Fielding. He complimented my 7-year-old daughter's jacket and shook her hand. She refused to wash it for days. I like that.
Yeah, at that age, so they're always looking for an excuse.
Oh, the man.
He's a nice bloke. Anyway, we're getting too nice now. It started so well with a positive thing.
Okay,
Is this
well,
a New
just
Year's resolution that
I'd
we're going
li-
to do sort of positivity text-ins?
No, it's not.
No, just for 1 week only. But I'd just like to add to that, if I may, the man with no name who had a fantastic long chat with Michael Flatley in a hotel bar in Ireland. Genuinely, really nice bloke. Sorry.
Fantastic.
Bought me. Sorry. Well, sorry. He just makes me laugh like Flatley. I can't help.
Come on, get a grip, Em.
Sorry. Bought me a large Monkey 47 gin, wouldn't take one back, and bought me another. It helped that we worked out my friend was his son's RE teacher.
Ah, well, there you go. Good old Flatley.
Good old
I
Flatley.
told you I shared a dressing room with him at the Royal Variety performance.
Doing this to me.
And he stood in the mirror and he adopted what I can only call a sumo pose, sort of a semi-squat. And he had a hairspray can in each hand, and he attacked his hair with both cans simultaneously. And just kept pressing. We were all thinking, I mean, we all had to get changed in the corridor. Nobody could breathe in there. I think he must have gills, Michael Flatley, because he just kept spraying. And that's why he can do Irish dancing, which is I think one of the most physical forms of dance, and his hair never moves a millimetre.
He definitely sits in the Cumberland chair, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if you give him a lift home on your motorbike, there'd be no worries about I don't have a helmet with me. He'd be fine. Yeah, so man of 1,000 faces. How nice are getting the free drinks out. Good old flatters. Oh, I'll tell you, I went to the opticians this week. You know those moments when you start emerging after Christmas, New Year, normality starts to come back. You go into something normal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting my eyes done.
Oh, but you don't have wrinkles or bags?
No, in an optician
Oh,
kind
sorry,
of a way.
we're mixing different worlds.
And she said, "Did you use dry eye drops for any of those things?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I do cry quite a lot," and I just let it hang there. And then I said, "I'm joking. I don't cry." She said, "Oh, thank God! I had no idea what I was going to say next."
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We should mention Christmas a bit. I was having. We had the big. I went away with my brother-in-law's family, and so there was like about 15 of us. I think Christmas lunch, something like that. Maybe not that many.
Oh,
12.
lovely.
Anyway, we had crackers, and it was a very. Now there's there's a move in the cracker world towards the crackers forming some sort of complete organic entertainment. They're not the individuals. They're not the quirky individuals they used to be, crackers. So we had one, I remember a couple of years ago, they had bells in them, and it meant you could play a tune when you were all gathered round.
Oh, yes.
From numbered things. Anyway, this year, it allocated, the cracker that you opened allocated you a line from the 12 days of Christmas.
Oh.
So then you sing it. Sometimes there's two of you. All of you go 5 gold rings. You have to stand up when it's your line. It was, you know what? It's one of the most enjoyable things.
I love it. What can I ask, Frank? I'm quite excited to know what line you got.
I had 2 lines.
Oh, you had 2?
Yeah, because a lot of people had 2, because, it encourages.
3 lions, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So I had 4 calling hens, yeah, and I had some Lords a Leaping.
I mean,
well.
Can I just say, Lords a Leaping is in my top 3 of those lines.
Yeah.
Calling hens I could live without, no offence.
But I like the idea of the landed gentry assembling for some sort of games
Is
day.
it 7? How many Lords a Leaping? Do you recall?
I think it was 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
Faye, the producer, has thoughts on this. She says it's 10.
She says 10. Well, that's okay. Fair enough. Yeah. That's a great thing to be prompted on by the producer. Faye, can you let me know the Lords are Leaping info?
Can I ask,
Brilliant.
Frank, who got, let's be honest, the big un? And we know what line that is. Who got
Partridge in a
numero
Pear
5?
Tree.
No, number 5 is
5
the big
got.
one.
Well, everybody does 5 gold rings.
Oh.
That is its democracy. Everyone knows that's what we're after, the 5 gold rings.
Were you good at it?
Yeah, of course. You want to hit it right. There was one, I think the 4 calling hens, is it? 4 calling hens?
I'm very good at that. 4 calling hens.
I got that one on my own, so I tried it in effect. You know what? If you're doing a series of takes, you give them some different stuff, to work with.
Yeah.
So sometimes I went deep, sometimes I had a vibrato.
Nice.
But it was. I would like to do that sort of community singing at every meal. I did it. I really, and then I led. There was an old lady who swallowed a fly, with me just calling out stuff like "dog" to lead, so we know where we were going. Very favourite section of that. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. No, I can't.
Like she just opened her throat and swallowed a goat.
That's good.
I picture an operation of some kind rather than just eating it.
Can I be honest? It's always given me the creeps somewhat, that song.
Has it really?
I really don't warm to it.
I had I think we had a kids LP of Burr Lives, and he did it. But he also did the Big Rock Candy Mountain as a kid's song. Originally it was an adult song, I think, but he did it as a kid's song. But he left in the bit about the cigarette trees, which is a nice touch for the children.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I know we've done an awful lot of these sort of, I met a celebrity and they were nice. But there are just 2 I would like to crowbar in
fire
quickly.
away.
Oh, thank you. Casey Thrash, Hamish from Monarch of the Glen once told me I had awesome hair during a fun run in our town.
It's a good one. I don't remember Hamish. I remember Monarch of the Glen, certainly.
And
named after the Edwin Landseer painting of a stag,
lovely.
Rampant.
Good knowledge.
And Sir Edwin Landseer did what other famous animal art? I'll
There's
tell
the dogs
you.
playing snooker.
No, I wish he'd done that.
was he a horse painter?
He did the lions around Nelson's column,
How lovely.
but not as good as the dogs playing snooker.
Dogs playing
I think it's fair to
snooker.
say.
Jamie Smith. When I was 17 on a TV course at the Edinburgh Festival, I tentatively approached a celebrity at a party who was great, talked with me for about half an hour about football, comedy, and took a genuine interest in what I was doing. That man was...
Prince Andrew.
Don't give a deal. No, it was Frank Skinner.
Oh, it was me. Yeah. Where was he at?
The Edinburgh Festival.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've been there.
There you go. Isn't that lovely, Frank? You took
That
a
is-
genuine interest in what he was doing.
It is nice. It is nice. I tell you, I met Cat Dealey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And remember her?
Yeah.
And she said you were walking through Spark Hill in Birmingham, and my brother, this is her brother, was in a cafe with his mate eating chips, and they saw you, recognised you, and called you in. This is before Cat Dealey got famous. And I went and ate chips with them in there. And that was the cafe where they had knives and forks on chains. And the woman used to walk around with a bucket and clean them at the table. So, lovely memories, as they say.
I'd love it if they did that at one of these, like the Ivy or something. I'd love it if they did that.
It was one of those flannels. I don't know what they were made of, but they were sort of grey and very loose linked, the material. And they'd walk around. The water was completely grey, and just come round and give the.
Oh, God.
The thing is, the cutlery would be wiped but never dried. Anyway, that was that place. Lovely, though.
And we've had a number of people just wanting to... Well, I mean, they're being very polite about it, but they're just clarifying... Yeah, they're clarifying the order.
Oh, hold on.
Just say it.
Correczione, correczione. Our best ever jingle.
Yeah. I would say they were more just clarifying the whole four. Is it 3 French hens, 4 French hens?
Yeah, I must say, I think I made it.
4 calling birds, 3 French hens.
Yeah, I think I made it clear that I was operating from a script on the day from some organic crackers.
I mean, Stephen Vadgama says, hashtag know your 12 days of Christmas gifts.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the person who turns up next year and has learned it off by heart. You know, there's a famous story of Laurence Olivier playing, I think it was Richard III or something, and he was completely off the book on the day one of rehearsal. He did the whole thing off the book, and at the end... the rest of the cast applauded him. That applause would stand a long analysis. I would say.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio. Emily Dean, Alan Cochrane. Text the show 81215, blah, blah. At Frank on the radio, Twitter and Instagram. Email the show, frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Yours, etc.
I mean, that was certainly housekeeping.
Yeah, that was. I'll do it properly. But people must get fed up of it, don't they?
Well, they do
Unless
now.
people thinking, I wish I knew the website address to contact them direct. We should say get well soon to our producer, Sarah Bishop, who has got the COVID. I think she got it off her boyf. What's Matt's official? Is he a ranch hand? I always think he might be a ranch hand. He's got a country and western theme.
Yes, he has.
Anyway, so I tell you what, it's great today because Faye's doing the whole thing on her own, and me and Emily in the studio. Al is in Manchester. Me and Em are a bit like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. We are putting the show on here in the barn. And Emily made her own coffee earlier. I mean, yes.
Wow.
Alert.
Just wow.
I know, it was a thing to see, I must say.
Another hashtag new normal.
And whilst doing it, I said, I think this is very good for us.
You did say that, and then you put your cup not quite under the milk in the milk machine, so it all went into the tray. But you have to learn. We all have to learn. We can't just, you know what I mean? There's a ramp to every skill. You don't just arrive.
Look, I tried.
You did. It was lovely to see. Oh dear. So
I'm glad to see that my Devil Wears Prada reputation is being preserved.
Well, it reminds me, me and Lee Matt once had breakfast with the Crown Prince of Yugoslavia and his wife.
I love that man. I love you. I love this story.
And he said when Tito died and he got his palace back, he arrived and the keys were in the door, a big bunch of keys in the door of the palace. And they didn't know what the keys were to, so they had to go around the house, try him and his wife, just him and his wife, no servants or anything, just trying doors to see where everything was. Find the kitchen.
Sounds fun.
Oh,
Sounds
man.
really fun, though.
It does, because, it's a palace after all. It's going to be good news usually if you open the
it
door.
would take ages, and there wouldn't have been a big handbook like an Airbnb. It would have just been...
You never know you don't know what Tito left in the dungeon, though. Do you know what I mean? That'd be a nervous bit of unlocking. Oh, I'll tell you what, we're talking about me. We sang the 12 Days of Christmas. I've been corrected. It's officially established that I don't know the words to it. But like so many actors, when I was on the script, I was great.
No, but you did know which... you were very informative about the work of Landseer.
Oh, well, that you can't know everything.
Yeah.
No.
And we also we tried London's Burning as a round. You know that one? London's Burning, London's Burning. That's a bit hard. We weren't quite sure about that either. It was very quick.
Fire and fetch
That's
the water,
the Great Fire of
isn't it?
London, isn't it?
Is it? Well, this was a short one. I don't think Samuel Pepys would have had time to bury his cheese. Oh no, that sounded a lot more sordid than I meant to. Oh no, he did. But he did. I've got to clarify this though, because that did sound awful.
It's a horrible thing to say.
They said people ran to Samuel Pepys' house and said London is on fire. He got a massive cheese which he'd bought recently, and he dug a hole in the garden and buried it so that it wasn't damaged by the fire.
I mean, get your priorities right, mate.
Yeah, but I think a big cheese then. I don't mean a big cheese, but yeah, it was a expensive thing.
What about when I wrote a song about the plague? It was only 2 lines.
Was it Ring a Ring of Roses?
No, it was this.
You're not that old, eh?
No, it was it was this, Frank. The plague did hit London in 1665. There was hardly anybody who escaped alive.
It's a good song, good headline. Banner headline before we go to the details. Was there more?
I can't remember the rest.
Okay,
what do you think?
I quite like it. I like
it.
I like anything with a year in it.
Yeah, but what about did hit? Is that trying a bit hard? Did hit?
Oh well. I've just been watching the Beatles composing on hours and hours of that Beatles show.
Yeah,
and they're saying things like, "No, it's good writing, but you can't really sing that line. We need another." So it's a lot of that going on. But I like things with a year. Late September back in '63, and 1792 was it? 1742, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Is that we're going to get loads of corrections?
Yeah,
I think 1742. And tonight I'm going to party like it's 1999, of course.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I just say that Faye, the producer today, has told us a lovely story of English life.
Oh, yeah.
That in the village where her parents live, this Christmas, Faye, they reenacted the Great Fire of London.
Oh,
not
is
really.
everybody all right?
Not really a Christmas. Didn't 5... I think there's only about 5 registered people who died in the Great Fire of London.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's not dwell on that, darling.
They set fire to a Christmas tree and someone buried was it a baby bell? Someone buried they buried a big cheese to commemorate Pepys' burying of the cheese. I haven't made it up.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know, that is possibly the most middle-class thing I've ever heard, and I like it.
Okay.
I love that.
I don't see why the working classes couldn't bury a cheese as a Christmas tree burned.
All right, okay.
722 has texted in with a nice celebrity that they've met, and I like it because it gives it a wider range than it's had thus far. I once met excuse me. I once met rapper 50 Cent at the gym in Glasgow before one of his gigs. Okay. He was surprisingly nice, as were his minders. That's from Al in Glasgow.
Yes, I've met 50 Cent.
Have you?
Yeah, a couple of times. Charming.
If I
Did
met...
I call him 50? Sorry.
Yeah, you said 50, but you know what? I still love you.
If I met FC, The gym is where I'd want to meet him. 'Cause I bet he's a guy who works out regularly. I think most American celebrities nowadays, the Woody Allen sort of frail, flimsy, they've gone. They're all. I watched the new Spider-Man movie, and Tom Holland is like a child. He's almost like a child. Mm-hmm. Took off his shirt, looked absolutely gobsmacking.
Ripped.
Yeah, ripped, completely ripped.
Yeah, hench.
Is that
I
the
tell
word?
you what, he's set.
Hench is one of the words. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm writing that down.
He's set
I don't
the
think
bar
it's right, though.
very high, Dominic Holland, for progeny of the comic.
yeah.
Yeah, Dominic Holland was a comedian who I used to work with a lot. Good Catholic. And
That's good.
his son, is Tom Holland, who is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Good, very good film, I thought. But you know what? I'm utterly obsessed with the Beatles documentary on
so
Disney.
am I.
I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I'm utterly obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. I don't want it to ever end.
I just like having it
Doesn't
on in
it
the
feel like it
background
won't?
all the time.
Yeah. Well, they did, of course.
Yeah. There's some great characters in it, though.
I know the bootleg Beatles have been around for about 20 years longer than the Beatles, which is that seems wrong. But
Can I
no.
have a guess at some of the great characters that are in it?
Yes.
Go on.
John,
Yeah, he's in it.
Paul,
Yeah.
George.
He wasn't in all of it.
He's not in all of it because he has what I believe Hugh Grant calls on set a bit of a shouty screamy.
He did.
Oh, does he?
Don't want to spoil us. And Yoko's in it, of course. Don't forget Yoko.
Right.
Is Yoko in it? She's
Yeah.
in it big time.
Her and John Lennon move about like a pantomime horse that's lost its outer casing. That's how they walk about. They are. I mean, when people say they're inseparable, I mean, that is love, I must say. Or is it imprisonment?
I
Hard to
felt
tell.
most sorry for Ringo because every time he leaves the studio, everyone leaps into his seat to start playing
It's
the
tempting to play that. Having been in a few bands, people can't leave the drums alone.
Yeah, but you
generally.
don't want
right?
John Lennon playing your drums.
And also, at the end of most takes, they do a brilliant take of something from that album, like, I don't know, Dig a Pony, and then they sit around and say, even George, who's the sweet one, say, I think it'd be great, Ringo, can you sort of go dum? No, and then John will say, no, I think, why don't you go? And poor old Ringo's going, all right. Oh, man, leave him alone.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
How many burgers, Bob? One, love. That's why I imagine that lyric came around.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I play to my dog, reggae. They love reggae dogs.
I am.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, that's what you play to them to
Do
calm
they?
them down, yeah.
Is it to do with
I've
the
never
sort of
done that.
Yeah.
the constant rhythm?
On top of classical music, it came reggae.
Oh, okay.
Most calming.
My whippet does not seem to love Belgian house music, which is what I tend to listen to.
Belgian house music you listen to?
Yeah, like techno, Belgian techno house sort of stuff, that kind of thing. She's not as into that as me, for instance.
Can I ask you? I'm taking you completely serious on the Belgian house.
Okay.
Do you really listen to it a lot?
I listen to it sometimes, yeah.
Do you listen to it like? What is that like? If you were working out, you'd listen, or would you actually sit? Would you sit in your room and think, I'll put on a bit of Jean-Paul Batterson's?
No, but I have been known to think, I'm going to go and do my kettlebells. I'll put on a DJ mix by, for example, Charlotte de Witte, which is she's Belgian, I think, and that's exactly why I picked Belgian house.
Yeah, see, I that's what I think. I think of house music as something you listen to at an event, which is a house thing event, or something you work out to. I'm sitting at home relaxing.
No, I wouldn't put it on and then read a magazine on the couch.
No, that's I thought it's when you're getting hench.
Too many mixed messages.
Would that be right when you're trying to get hench?
Yeah. Or ripped. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of community singing and all that, I had a go at. I couldn't remember the ladies of the court of King Caractacus. That's what I told the police anyway. No,
it happens to us all, dear.
Do you remember it? It's sort of
Not
got
only
something
can
like.
I not remember it, I don't think I know it in the first place.
It's like
Let's find out.
there's a bit that goes the fascinating stitches of the boys who put the powder on the noses of the faces and the ladies of the harem of the Cortican Caractacus. But it builds up like there was an old lady. I'd like to have come up with that as a party piece.
Well, Annabelle
good.
Grant, who calls herself Norwich Elf on the socials,
Okay.
says Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1592.
15, not 40. Of course, 14.
You're sounding like the contestant when they come in
Yeah, I
afterwards
do,
and say
of
you
course.
passed on 2 and you got them when they get them in. Of course,
Yeah,
15.
of course. Yeah, of course, yeah.
As if they knew.
I did. I think I made it clear I was unsure of the date.
And London's burning is actually believed to be about King Olaf pulling down London Bridge in the 11th century.
Oh, I didn't think it was about the popular TV drama of the 1990s.
Oh, I love that. It's a
Did
good
they
show.
use it? Did they use it as a theme tune on London's Burning?
Oh, do
No,
you
I
remember
don't
that?
think so.
And then Craig Fairbrass, who was one of the actors in it. Oh, where did that come from? Extraordinary.
I don't remember. Was he related to Richard Fairbrass of?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Right, said Fred.
I hope not for his sake. But Craig Fairbrass went on to become some Hollywood movie star. You know why? He got hench, Al.
Did he?
Did he?
VV hench.
You have to. I tell you, you have to get your Oscars in the gym, not in the rehearsal room. This is my contention. That's a song. Is there a song where he says that's my contention? 8, 12, 15.
Frank Skinner,
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've had some good information just come in.
I
from
love good
313. Hello, Frank. It's My Contention is a line from Souvenir by Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark.
Uh-huh.
You're welcome.
I can't believe that I knew
Did
that.
they use contention? I know they say it's my direction. Oh, it's contention.
Maybe they rhyme the two.
Possibly.
From Beetroot 66 in Teesside.
I think the one is why that's my contention is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't think I know OMD well enough for that to have stuck.
That was the most reasonable and sweet piece of graffiti I ever saw.
What was that?
It was near Highgate Wood in the Highgate area, and someone had just graffitied OMD,
Oh.
which I really like. Just for graffiti the band you like.
If I was a policeman and I saw that, I would automatically assume only OMD would have done that, and I would have questioned them about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Because a
do you remember-
fan... Oh, go on, sorry. A
go
fan
on.
would have said OMD...
Yeah.
Okay, or something like that. They wouldn't have just
Rule.
put the name. Yeah, rule. ROOL.
Or are my favourites.
What about when I was younger and I tried to sort of rebrand Christmas and I was trying to be... Oh, I did something so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed of this. I went through a period, Frank, when I was about 13 of signing all the family Christmas cards. Have a cool Yule.
Oh, I like
cool
it.
Yule.
Oh, I'm so
Nice.
sorry.
Merry Winterval.
Oh, wow. Have a cool Yule. Apparently they all laughed at me and they never told me.
I wonder if Yul Brenner signed his Christmas cards with Yule, R-U-L-E, instead of R-U-L. I hope he did. I hate a missed pun. That would have been brilliant.
Here's my question. Do you remember we used to talk on the show about late eureka moments? Do you remember
Idiotic
that?
eureka moments, I
Yes,
think we call it.
idiotic eureka
When you
moments.
realise something that everyone else seems to have noticed. And the one I used as my example was Maureen Lipman played a character called BT in a BT advert, and I never associated BT with BT, which is very slow.
Yeah, it's almost like a hidden joke or a thing that should
But
be
not
really
very
obvious.
hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've only gone and had one. I had one over the Christmas break. For some reason, my son was discussing with us the celebrity and sports star O.J. Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
Remember her?
The juice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said at one point, oh, for some reason, OJ's nickname was the Juice. And then I went, oh, OJ! Like orange juice! And
it's a
I
great-
really felt a fool.
When you remember something, it's a sensational feeling. But when you realise something that it's very nice to think, oh, that's what it means. But then there's that after self-loathing of what an idiot I've been.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Well, one of them was Little Britain, which I had for a long time.
What
I
is
just thought it
it?
was called Little Britain. I didn't realise it was anything to do with Great Britain, the opposite of Great Britain.
I didn't know
Is that what
that.
it is?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good, isn't it?
I still. That's too fresh for me. I'm still not convinced it's true. Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I thought it was a reference to Fern Britton post-gastric band. See, I think I just read too much into it.
Okay.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So,
Boys, I need to discuss something with you, which is a story I read, which I feel is a very wholesome way to usher in a new year, because it's about a mafia boss on the run who's finally been apprehended. This gentleman is called Gioacchino Gamino. And he was discovered by police on the run in Spain. He'd been on the run for decades. Do you know how they found him? Did you hear about this? Read about it?
I did see it, but go on, tell us.
Well, you know, on Google Maps, they often have what I call the supporting artiste
Yes, exactly.
wandering around. You might see a builder.
The extras, yeah.
I love the extras on Google Maps.
Do you know what they call extras in America? What they used to, the atmosphere.
The Russ Abbotts.
Yeah. So-
I love those people. I love spotting someone.
You know what I love?
Go on.
I love men with briefcases and umbrellas, or women walking dogs that are surrounding the artist's impression of large buildings that are about to be made.
I like couples holding hands in those pictures. They always have those.
The little people that populate the artist's impression models. I love those guys. That's what I would like to be in an ideal world. Anyway.
Do you know there are some famous people have been captured in a different way on Google Images?
Is that right?
Apparently Joe Pesci's on Google Maps
Oh, wow.
in getting into a car in New Jersey.
Are they all Mafia themed?
Yeah, he's just playing somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
He just
On Google
realised that. And Crosby from Crosby, Stills and Nash.
I don't think he's got any connections, has he?
Well, I'm
Oh,
starting to wonder now.
It's quite a thing. I tell you what, when I read this story, my first thought, this guy, Sicilian mob leader, apprehended in Spain. I thought, you know who I really, really wanted to be involved and hope were involved? Interpol.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I love Interpol. And I don't know if I've got they used to be very glamorous when I was a kid, Interpol. I think because of the success of Thunderbirds, people got them mixed up with International Rescue. And they really thought they were some amazing group. And I think they might just be like, everyday police. They just have no international barriers.
Well, I remember
Yeah.
my grandmother, when any time anything happened, my grandmother would say, call Interpol, darling,
Yeah,
call
man,
Interpol. And my sister did once say to her, I don't think they exist anymore.
Do they not exist?
8, 12, 15.
I think they must.
Do
Don't
Interpol
break it to me like that Interpol's gone. Oh, if they've gone, I'm going to use their internet domain name to start a parrot export business.
Yeah. Interpol. You don't hear much about Interpol
You
these
don't,
days.
but I don't think they were involved in this.
He was living...
You've got a feel for him, though, haven't you? You've got a feel for is it Gambione? Gamino.
I mean, he's someone I
of
would get the name right if I were you. He seems like he
Yeah.
might not have a sense of humour about it.
I don't think he listens to this.
Of all the places that you'd think he might have been safe, it would have been Google Maps where they blur people's faces out.
Do they do that?
Yeah.
He had adopted the nickname Manu, and then he'd opened a vegetable shop and a restaurant in that name. I mean, he was playing with fire.
And I also read that on the menu was a Sicilian
On the
dish.
Manu menu?
On the Manu menu was a Sicilian-themed dish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the logo was from The Godfather.
It must be terrible, though, to have been so successful and so powerful and then to have fallen away to this. Oh, no, that's not Man U, that's Man U.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
I once dated a man whose father owned the shop and so to bed, ... And
Oh, yeah.
quite a good little chat-up line he would work it into the chat. Don't you worry. There was the ... the ellipses he used. Okay.
I'm wondering if in the light of this mafia boss hiding behind a vegetable shop and a restaurant, if the Codfather chip shop range could not be someone hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Well, yeah, we should return to Gamino. So Gamino was spotted in... It was in Spain, wasn't it?
Do you think
Frank?
people in the restaurant said stuff like, the horse's head was a bit undercooked?
Apparently
one of the giveaways was that, you know, when chefs sort of throw a tea towel over one shoulder as they're doing that sort of stuff. You know? Apparently he kept putting it over his face. Apparently he was always hiding his face.
I'm sorry, the last chef I saw doing that was in an episode of Robin's Nest. Google it. You know, this chap had been living there under the name... I mean, he'd gone to Spain. He's a mafia boss trying to create a new identity. What name had he chosen, guys?
Well, I thought was Manu was his nickname.
Yeah, because he'd chosen Manuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what was next plans? I'll go
See,
to
Mr.
Australia and call myself Bruce.
Yeah, he didn't exactly push the boat out. Do you know how he escaped from prison, by the way?
No.
No.
They were doing a movie and using the prison as a prison in the movie. And I think someone was paid or whatever to attempt an escape on the day so that he could actually escape. And what he did was he escaped with the extras because they were dressed in prison uniform. When they were shuffled out because there was an escape happening, they had to leave. He went out with the extras, so they sent him out thinking he was he was the atmosphere.
Do you think that means one of the extras got left in there?
No, I don't think they counted them, really. Maybe they should have done. Who counts the
Should
extras?
really have been a head count.
So that's how he got
But
out.
that's a brilliant escape story, isn't it?
That's
really
how he
is.
was sprung.
I bet he did catering before leaving. You know, the catering truck for extras.
It's not just how he got out, it's also how he got his equity card, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so he was on the most wanted list, I'm afraid. And this Google...
To be fair, he was only in the top 100, Italy's most wanted. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not that. We are probably in the low 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are wanted in Italy that there's a top 100?
What I love is
many of those are scootering offences.
Exactly.
moped offences. Yeah. When he was arrested, apparently, Al, he said to the police, "How did you find me? I haven't even called my family for 10 years." I like that he's slightly outraged.
He should have moved to England because people who haven't called their family for 10 years would blend in a lot more here.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Oh, by the way, Julian Steinberg has tweeted us to say Leslie Crowther on a sponsored walk. Very nice chap.
No, I'd guess it. I think he was a West Brom fan, Leslie Crowther.
Oh, here we go. If you're a West Brom fan, you're
And of course, he was the first host of the old Come On Down in this country.
Annie QPR, one of our regulars, Happy New Year, Annie QPR, has sent a rather enchanting photo. It's my son being caught playing football on Google Maps, she says. He's 17 now. And he looks about 6 or 7 in this photo.
Yes, so
It's adorable.
It'd be a
Oh,
great
that's cute.
thing. I think that Google Maps, they've got lots of money, Google. They should throw an enormous
Have they?
party. Yeah.
Ow. Of all the things he's ever said, I tell you what, they've got lots of money, that Google.
Throw an enormous
I
party
don't like it
every
when we do
year
the news.
for the people who's been on Google Maps. I think that'd be
That'd
lovely.
be good.
Breaking news today. This news just in. Google have got lots of money.
Oh, I'd like to ask Annie QPR, by the way.
Sure.
Just a fact check, because this is something that I believe on Match of the Day in the 70s. You used to get QPR every now and again in the winter, and I think they were in the 3rd division at the time. They were certainly in the 3rd division in 1967 when they won the League Cup by beating West Bromwich Albion by kicking the goalkeeper in the chest. Anyway. And
You've got over it.
they used to be on the telly because when it snowed, the BBC outside broadcast couldn't get any further than QPR's ground. Yeah, so they were on quite a bit. But maybe Annie will know the answer to
Okay.
that.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you.
Talking,
Annie,
we're
Thank
talking
you.
Can I say
orange
my
ball
worst,
coverage.
my
there.
worst thing ever?
No, lots of orange ball.
Thanking you in advance. That's terrible.
Yes.
Oh,
I got that
Yeah.
in a hotel where they asked to sign the they leave a book in your room to sign, and it says thanking you in advance.
how
And,
dare you? The presumption of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I'd just taken the thank you and then not signed it?
Yeah.
Then
Well,
they'd have felt like fools.
Frank, you know already my worst thing I hate in a shop is when someone says, you know the tone I don't like?
Go on.
Do you need any help at all?
Well, Happy New Year. If shouted by someone in a sort of very loud, public, jovial way, often becomes Happy New Year. And I don't know quite why. As if one often says Happy Year. But I'm going to add new as it's so early on. That don't make no sense. Anyway, don't forget our text in this morning. Which TV chef would you like to see arrested by Interpol?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had some nominations through for nicest celebrity people have ever met.
Okay.
Roger Dobson has said Lemmy.
Oh,
Who knew?
Nice.
yeah.
Pastry Saint.
Who Lemmy is? Oh, okay. I thought.
Pastry Saint has said Phil Jupitus.
Okay, yeah. I know Phil Jupiter. Well, I say I know. I used to know Phil Jupiter's very nice.
Okay. And Captain Scott.
Oh, I don't. I think it was before my time.
Yeah, this is a late review.
Captain Scott, rather surprisingly, has actually tweeted us.
Okay.
Ah.
So, and he said, Cammy gets a lot of shout outs here. Chris Kamara,
Oh, yes.
hugely
yeah.
popular with people.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet he's a laugh.
More surprisingly, Brendan Eyre has plumped for Anne Widdecombe.
Really?
Didn't see
Wow.
that coming.
No, I
Did
didn't
not see that
But you
coming.
see, you never know. I met Chris de
Evans.
Berg.
A whole
I met
lovely
him.
reference.
I met him in the pits at Silverstone.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Wales. It was either going to
No.
be Wales or Silverstone.
No, we were on the same coal face, me and him.
Holding a
Show
canary.
business.
Yeah. Yeah, he was very nice. And I sort of wanted, for anecdotal reasons, for him to be not so nice. But he was nice. So stuck with it.
I like a texting that can range from 50 cent to Anne Widdecombe.
Yeah, via Krista Berg.
Exactly.
Lady in bread. Not for that.
Okay.
We've been discussing the Mafia,
Escapee.
let's say, escapee gangster that ended up in a deli in Spain. Do you think there was ever a moment when he was on the counter at the deli and somebody bought a sandwich and said, "How much? God, this is daylight robbery." And he went, No, this is not daylight robbery.
Yeah. You so want to do the voice when you tell that story.
You so want to.
Yeah,
but
you
for so
can't.
many reasons, I feel it's best not to because, like I say, I
can't.
like my house, I like my life.
They caught another Mafia guy last year who was doing cooking videos on YouTube. What is it with cooking? And
they've watched too many episodes of Goodfellas.
I think it must be that.
I mean, they've watched Goodfellas.
But you don't go on YouTube if you're, on the run.
It's one of the rules, isn't it?
No, yeah, exactly. I had a thought. I shouldn't be having to tell them that.
The law of the influencer dollar. It's too hard to resist for these crims.
And also, if you're a really good cook, it must be very tempting to get it out there. Oh, well, never mind.
What price? Life and liberty.
I know. That's always the prison canteen. I bet they were clicking their heels together, those prisoners, when they heard Manu was turning up. Wow, man. Garlic bread.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I would like to draw your attention to something, Frank.
Go on.
It's a subject that's been getting a lot of traction on social media.
On the Smedes.
Probably why I don't know about it.
Okay, I know, because you've got class and you avoid it.
No, it's not class, it's...
Well, it is really, which concerns Ronaldo.
Okay.
Now, by some, not all, but by some regarded as the GOAT of football.
Yeah.
Okay? He has been compared with someone others would say was the GOAT of comedy.
What, you mean me?
I
just thought wanted to guess me straight away once you said that.
I like that it didn't take you long to get there.
Oh, am I right? Okay.
There's a statue of Ronaldo which has been erected in Goa, and people are comparing it. I mean, so many of our readers have been in touch saying, oh my God, this is Frank Skinner. It looks so like you.
See, I don't think me and Ronaldo look very alike, do we?
No, but in statue form.
Yeah,
maybe.
statue form changes. All bets are off when someone becomes a statue.
I mean, Rapster...
He's not had a lot of luck, has he, in statue form, Ronaldo?
Oh, no, didn't he have... he had another terrible one, didn't he? I'm saying this is a terrible one because it looks like me.
Well, I mean, it looks a bit like you. It does look like it was sort of made in 1948.
You're right.
Do you know what I mean? It's got an old...
Even I wasn't made that early. Not far off.
Rapster73 said the likeness is uncanny. I mean, I've had so many people... Have you seen this statue?
Let me have a look at the...
Okay, I'll show you a picture.
Emily is now actually passing me her phone. This is live radio
there you
at
go,
its most
Frank.
dynamic. That does actually look like me. They've even got the forehead.
A number of people have said that, but I wasn't going to point it out.
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Very discreetly done, Emily.
Yeah. I believe that in 1,000 years' time, all human beings will have foreheads like this.
Yeah.
I'm just ahead of the game.
But what's interesting is what I like is you've essentially now got a statue of you, which is lovely.
Yeah, because I could just hang around by that statue and to make friends because people wouldn't know. But I don't look. I think I'd have to travel
Frank's
at
going
least
to
that
Goa
far.
to make friends
I
near
mean,
a
that
statue.
doesn't sound at all weird. What, holding a plastic bag with Doctor Who merch in it?
I bet that, but they probably know Doctor. Oh, by the way, it's William Hartnell's birthday today. First ever
Happy
Doctor Who.
birthday.
Oh, it hasn't come through on my Who alerts for some reason.
January 8th was they crammed them in. David Bowie, Elvis Presley, Shirley Bassey, William Hartnell. I mean, wow. Who do I get on my birthday? I get Mikhail Baryshnikov.
Oh, do you?
Bless you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And Akabilk. That's my team.
Can I just say something? NB Isabel has been in touch to say nicest celebrity she's ever met.
Let me guess.
Well, it's a bit weird.
Topol.
No. Tony Bennett at the recording of one of your TV shows, Frank Skinner, in 2005, circa.
What?
What was your impression of Tony Bennett, Frank?
Tony Bennett, I mentioned Sopranos and he said, that's bigotry. No, don't say that. It's bigotry. Bigotry. Yeah. Which was a bit awkward, I'll be honest with you. I hope he wasn't listening to the Google Mafia story. Oh, no, he's no longer with us, I think, Tony. I once went to see Tony Benny at the Albert Hall, and there was a terrible smell of burning.
Oh,
And
dear. Someone lit a cigarette near his hair.
the sound desk... No, I don't think his hair was in the building.
Was it in a cab at the time on its way over?
The sound desk started smoking, the actual desk, and they had to stop the gig.
Oh, no.
And, yeah. I also went to a Kenny Rogers one where they called it off because of a bomb scare, and we saw him speeding away in the back of a limo. And somebody said, "Look, old Yeller's leaving," which is a line from Coward of the County. It was me who said it, of course.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Oh, and I think we've got yet another... correczione, ole, ole, ole. Yes.
Yes. Alexei Romanov has been in touch.
Is he the one that got away? Okay.
To say Tony Bennett is still very much alive.
Well, it's great news. I'm happy to be wrong about that.
He retired last year.
He's still alive at 95,
still
isn't he?
alive at 95.
Apparently he's been spotted on Google Maps. They thought he was gone. But he is out there. No, I'm very happy to hear that. He was very nice when I met him.
Was he at an Italian restaurant?
Bigotry. Frank, that's bigotry. Oh, yeah.
Wait till he sees those Dolmio adverts.
Oh, man, he won't.
That's bigotry.
He won't like that.
Won't like that.
We've also had a message from 341 re-Google Maps. Happy New Year. My late Nan has been immortalised on Google Maps, doing what she did best, gassing out front to one of her neighbours. That was about 10 years ago the pic was taken, and it's been removed. That's from Stee in Runcorn. That's kind of nice, somewhat bittersweet for a Saturday morning.
It's
nice.
it's a grand old tradition, though. I mean, just the word gassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There used to be a song by... in fact, I think this might have been an example of bigotry. And it was Bernard Cribbins. Bernard Cribbins did a song called Gossip Calypso, which was, I think he...
Is this okay?
It was about women gossiping. Basically.
Okay.
He also did another one. The bigotry front was, I think, Eat Your Macaroni, Joe, it was called, in which I think he did. I think that was Bernard Cribbins, did it in like an Italian type voice. We didn't know.
I have some more examples of encounters with celebrities, benign encounters.
Okay.
We have Mark Nichols. I met June Brown and John Barden.
No, I don't know Barden. I know June Brown. Who's John Barden?
I think he played an elderly man in EastEnders. Jim somebody or
Oh,
other.
the husband
Yeah.
of...
I think he was.
yes.
.com.
Well, I actually
Yeah.
cooked for them. They were really nice. June was showing me her electric
Were
cigarette.
they cotton really nice?
Oh, lovely. June was showing me her electric cigarette. This was back in about 2009.
Okay.
And then Pat Comey.
Is that why they called them e-cigarettes? Do you remember they were called e-cigarettes?
Electric.
I had a joke where I was really proud of, which never worked. And I said, I smoke an e-cigarette, but if I'm feeling very poignant and bittersweet, I smoke an E-minor
Lovely.
cigarette. And never got a laugh. And then they started calling it vaping, so that there was no, the E
you had to
element went
lose
away.
it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those jokes I was excited to do, and it played to utter silence.
Oh, well.
Never
Be
mind.
very cruel comedy, can't it?
Yeah.
Very cruel.
Pat Comey has also been in touch. Another vote for Lemmy. I was lucky enough to meet Lemmy a few times too, and he was always sound. The diehards, he would say. Always good-humoured.
Nice.
I like the diehards.
Yeah, I do
think
as
you
well.
should start saying that, Frank. Do you think Bruce Willis says that?
Yeah, he does
Very
when
good.
he gets his bank statement.
His royalty check.
That's what he calls them, Al, every time they come in. Hey, honey, the diehards.
Diehards. Oh man, think of the vests, trays of vests he must have in his dressing room.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes, were you going to say something? I think we're about to close.
Yeah, we've got a few. You know what? I might save some of these for next week.
Save them. I think we're not. We haven't been.
Lovely.
I like it when we go retrograde.
Yeah, I think we will. And we've got a few things. We have got people's texts that they've been very kindly sending in over the festive period.
Well,
we will be returning to those.
Next week, guys. Okay, so coming up next is Sarah Champion. Listen to her. I should say, unashamedly, that my poetry podcast is back this Wednesday, the 12th of January, for a brand new series. You can download Frank Skinner's Poetry Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Give me a
All I'm
taster.
saying, is 5 stars in the Times and one of the Times best podcasts of the year. I know,
that's nice.
I know I say it as shouldn't, but you know what I mean? It's a poetry podcast. It needs all the support it can get.
Well, I say it too. Can you give me 2 poets that I can look forward to this season?
Caroline Bird.
Oh, lovely.
In fact, I start with Caroline Bird, who wrote a fantastic collection called The Air Year.
Yeah.
And I don't want to explain what that means because it's very clever. And then I follow it with John Milton's Paradise Lost.
Fabulous.
Oh, wow.
I'm in.
Biggie.
Not the whole thing. Anyway, try it. Just try it. That's all I'm saying. Thank you so much for listening to us this morning. As always, it's great to be back, a whole new year. And, well, I'm guessing.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, birthday coming up. Good Lord spares us, and the creeks don't rise. We're back again this time next week. Now get out.